What is going on, good people of YouTube? It is me, Chavez, back with another Player Prop Talk live stream here on the channel. As always, I hope this finds you doing well and in good spirits. Happy Friday to you all. I hope your Thursday treated you right. I hope that your Friday morning is going well. I hope you're ready to talk some player props here on the channel. Gonna go about an hour today. I always say that. I always end up going over. Get those last minute questions in, and I feel like, I got to get all the questions. But today we're hard stopping at an hour. So if you're on right now, you heard it. You heard it first. You get in late And we end the stream at 10 and you're like, what the hell? You guys just started. Nope. We've been on stream for a while now. So going about an hour today, making sure I get out of here at a reasonable time, just to make sure that the rest of my schedule for this morning is just flows, just flows. Hashtag blessed, as we always start off the stream with a very morbid intro here. However, it is what it is. People die every day. People die in their sleep, mainly due to OSA, no murders, no homicides, hopefully not too many. Look like a lot of natural causes, but those individuals are no longer on this planet. So you are hashtag blessed. You're seeing this, you're hearing this. That means you did not perish overnight, which is a good start to your day. Or maybe it's a terrible start to your day. I don't know, depending on your mindset. If that's your mindset, it's a pretty bad mindset. You should watch the rest of this stream. Maybe my positive energy will inspire you to have a better day. Oh man, hashtag blessed though. But not everything is hashtag blessed worthy. I mean, come on. Sometimes shit just happens, or sometimes you just work your ass off for something. That's not blessed. That's just hard work. Hashtag blessed, right? Things maybe we don't have control over all the time, and they go our way. Hashtag blessed. Somebody was looking out for us. Something was looking out for us. Let's go into attitude for today. So I've been rolling with this intro for the better part of the last couple of weeks. Attitude is super important. I first started thinking about this because of a group that I'm in, that I go to a men's workout group on Thursday mornings, and it's been just a fantastic addition to my life, to be honest with you. The workouts are fantastic. They're strong, challenging workouts, but you're doing it with other people, and you're pushing each other. It's not like a boot camp or anything. It's just different, and there's always an intention behind it. There's always this sense of just, if you've ever worked with a group, a close-knit group, you probably know what I'm talking about. But like working out is something that I tend to do by myself, and you forget like what it feels like to share that space with a lot of people, like-minded men who are on their grind, and it's a cool space. But the attitude kind of came from there, and it's just like choosing your attitude. We get the opportunity to choose our attitude every day. Sometimes we let other things interfere with that, and before we know, we're having a bad day. We really don't even know why. So choosing your attitude, like making your bed first thing in the morning, like that's one thing you have control over. And at the end of the day, if it's a bad day, you come home and that bed is made, it looks good, feels good. Same thing with that attitude. Make that bed in the morning, choose your attitude, choose right. Today, my attitude is one of being centered, calm, and confident. I'm in control. I love this gift of Kobe Bryant not flinching. Matt Barnes tried to get him off his game. This is what got Matt Barnes a contract with the Lakers. After the season was over, Kobe reached out to Matt Barnes and asked him if he wanted to be a Laker. And I think in quote of like word for word, Matt Barnes was like, hell fucking yeah, I want to be a Laker. And that's how he got on the Lakers that next season. Kobe Bryant really liked his his whole attitude there. But calm and confident and in control, that's my attitude for today. Choose it right. Speaking of choosing right, BETR is a right choice for you. First time deposit match up to $250. There's my QR code. Scan it, and then you will be able to match your first time deposit up to $250. First time deposit, not the damn deposit. Don't be getting mad at me if you're already on BETR, then you scan my code. And no, that's not how that works. You got to be a new user, and you got to be a first time depositor up to $250. Maybe $250 is a big number for you. However, if you feel Like, I mean, you're serious about player props and, you know, you're in it for the long haul. 250 is not that big of a number, to be honest with you. And I'm not saying you have to blow by it in a week, but it is nice to have a little bit of a deeper account, and you're going to get that match of 500 in your account. I mean, you can stretch that. And if you're smart with your bankroll, you can turn that 250 promo, 250 better bucks into actually 500 real dollars. Seriously. So it's not that difficult. Also, what's not that difficult is taking the over on the 0.5 Kyrie Irving promo. That's running through the finals. I hope this is the last damn time we have to talk about this promo, because if it is, that means the Celtics swept the Mavs, and we got ourselves the closer of an NBA season, and the Celtics can hang another banner in the Garden. So I'm hoping this is the last time. No disrespect to the Mavs fans. I'm just a Celtics fan. If it weren't the Celtics in the finals, I'd probably be rooting for the Mavericks, to be honest with you. But that's not what we got today. So promo, 0.5 points on Kyrie Irving. You want to take the over on this one? You'd be a crazy person to take the under on his promo points. Just take the under on his regular game points, not his promo points. I'll be posting my Kyrie Irving. I have not made a slip for tomorrow's game with this promo, but I'll be sharing that in the Discord a little later this afternoon. Speaking of Discord, you got 3 ways to join the Discord, not a 3-way in the Discord. We don't do 3-ways in the Discord. You have 3 ways, 3 options. Options probably the better word to join the Discord. 10-day pass, $9.99, $1 a day. That's about as simple as it gets. $19.99 for your first for your full month. However, if you are a member of my Discord, you've been a member of my previous free player prop Discord, you are eligible for a 10 to 15% discount, just depending on how long you were part of that Discord. But you'll have a nice discount on your first month. And then the biggest discount of all is for the full year. Knock it out for the full year. Save 20%. DM me, and we can get you going today. If you signed up last week, you would have made your yearly back within the first 72 hours of being in the Discord, for sure. Yeah, we've had a pretty strong second week of June. Looking to keep it going this weekend. As we get into some player props for today, Friday, June 14th, 2024. We're talking PrizePicks, underdog, jock market, better, sleeper, hot streak, thrills. That's another one. I've never played on thrills. It looks like a sports book-ish kind of site like Fliff. Those I have no access to here in Texas. So fortunately, I cannot partake in the thrills over on thrills. But we're talking player props here. Yeah, if you're talking money lines and point spreads and things like that, unfortunately, I don't play those here in Texas. We just can't. So I don't really look at those. I don't really have a ton of insight for you in terms of money lines and things like that. But we're talking player props here. We can talk any player prop site that you want to talk about. Though we'll be focusing on PrizePicks with the dashboard because it's easier just to do it that way. We tried using Underdog a week ago, having both up and running. It was just janky as fuck. And Underdog, their desktop site is just terrible. They definitely need to come out with a desktop app. I think that would help out. But we'll use the tools and resources over on props.cash to break everything down. That's why it doesn't really matter where you're playing, because we can look at any line that you got over on props.cash. That's my promo code. Use it, save 25% off your first month. It is just that simple. If you've never used props.cash before, then stick around. We are going to use it here in a few moments live on the stream. You can use this as a walkthrough, a tutorial of sorts. And then after you've seen it used in real time, if you like what you see, you like how it flows, then you can use my promo code and save some money. Join the Discord, save some more money, then win some money. Boom. Just like that. It is literally that easy. let's head on over to the PrizePicks dashboard. Let's pull up the board here, and I do have some plays on the screen that I want to show you all, and then we can start digging into some player props that you have for today or tomorrow. If you were playing Stanley Cup, if you're playing finals, we can talk about those games tomorrow. But today we got WNBA and NBA, esports as well. Throw some esports in there, tennis, PGA, whatever you have, we can dig up on the stream today. I did put the wrong time. Vibes is good looking out. Vibes, I had it for 8:50 p.m. Damn sure ain't doing no live stream at 8:50 p.m. on a Friday night because my ass is at the club. No, I'm joking. If you're at the club at 8:50 p.m., you got some fucking problems, bro. You motherfucker, you early. The doorman's like, you sure you want to go in there now? They're still cleaning up the floor from last night. No, I'm not at the club. I'm club couch. I'm on the couch. 8:50 a.m. is what it should have been, but Vibes caught that one. Appreciate that. What's going on, Anthony? Good morning to you. Super Collider. Good morning from Dallas. What's up, man? Good morning. Big Icy. Happy Friday to you. Not me thinking I could catch Asia Wilson on a bad game. Shake my head. She don't miss. We took the under. We talked about her under yesterday. I know the game before she did have a bad game. That was the game. If you were going to take the unders on Asia, you would have taken the unders on her previous game where she did struggle a little bit. Brittany Griner was on her Griner for sure, man. She was fucking dropping buckets yesterday. So funny that she had a 17.5 point prop. I was like, damn, that's really high. Let me take the under on that one. And it started dropping throughout the day. 16.5, 15.5. And I'm like, hell yeah. I got it at the highest point. I'm in. She dropped 25 points yesterday. So you want to talk about the books getting it wrong? The books aren't perfect either. More times than not, they're correct, but the books got it really wrong yesterday on Brittany Griner's play. That was just a bad play, bad read. So I got some plays up here that I want to show you all before we get started and before we start talking about your player props. Maybe you've had these player props on your radar. Maybe we're on the same wavelength here. If not, you can follow along. Looking at some unders on some fantasy scores here. A lot of these are just based off BVP. To be completely honest with you, you don't always get odds on fantasy scores. But looking at BVP, I'm not worried about 5-game streaks, 10-game streaks. Like Ketel Marte's been on another level these past few games. I know for a while Fernando Tatis was crushing it along with Judge, Bobby Witt. There are a handful of guys in the MLB that were just on fire. You're ludicrous to take the under on their player props, right? Well, today's player props that you see on the board are all just kind of centered around BVP, and the matchup does not shape up well for them. Jose Ramirez versus Gossman today. Looking at his BVP matchup, I wanted to just throw this in a slip because Gossman has pretty much had his number over 20 at-bats. Ketel Marte today is also in a spot where, though he has been like I said, he's been on another level. He's been crushing over the last 5 games, 10 games or so. Chris Flexen, of all pitchers, has had his number along with Corbin Carroll. Now, there are some bats in this lineup like Christian Walker, who have Perdomo, who have hit him well. But Ketel Marte is not one of those guys. So looking to take the under on his hitter fantasy score here. Fernando Tatis. Now his matchup with Sean Manaea, I'm trying to think Hulkamaniac, Sean Manaea. I couldn't get it going. That's a terrible fucking name. Sean Mania. How about that? Yeah, Sean Mania is going to run wild on you as I give up 9 earned runs in 3 innings, but I'll strike out 5 batters. As long as he strikes out Fernando Tatis and doesn't allow Fernando Tatis to go wild, then Sean Mania will be in play today. But Fernando Tatis under his hitter fantasy score. Giancarlo Stanton, Rizzo, their matchup with Brian Bayo today. for Stanton has not been good over his past 10 plus at bats. Just hasn't been his matchup. Bayo has definitely had his number. So that one stood out to me. And then Anthony Rizzo, I really would prefer to take the under on his total bases. That's not available on PrizePicks, so I'm kind of risking it, throwing this one in a slip, the under on his hits, runs, and RBIs. There's a little bit of a correlation here, negative or positive correlation since we're taking the under. And then Luis Arias. So look, we're looking at the under on Tatis, but Arias has been pretty decent against Manaya. So looking to take the over on his hitter fantasy score while taking the under on Fernando Tatis. So these are just some plays that I like. Stanton is, I think, he's these power hitters that hit for massive numbers earlier in their career. I mean, by the end of their career, if they're not developing other skill sets, then they're just like big lumbering guys that, are good for a home run here and there, like a sideshow, like world's strongest man. Like, I mean, that shit's getting phased out the MLB. I mean, if you're not able to provide more than just power, I mean, anybody can hit for fucking power these days. So there are pitchers in the MLB that can hit home runs. They just don't need to. So yeah, I don't know, guys like this. That's why they get relegated to the DH, because they're a liability in the field. They don't know, they can't do much else. So Stanton to me is already in that tier where he's just kind of fading away. To be honest with you, he's got his money. He doesn't give a damn. Let's see here. Yeah, Asia Wilson. Asia Wilson has been on a hot streak, but again, the prior game, she did not hit her fantasy score. She did not hit her PRA. I don't even think she hit her. Not the prior. The prior game was the taco game, right? So it was the game before that. She had a blip on her radar, but for the most part, yeah, she's been on point. You going with MLB unders? Interesting. I usually go with WNBA unders. I don't really categorize it by the league. I don't like say I always take unders on MLB, but here's the bottom line is, unders are 50% of your options in player props. The majority of player prop bettors or whatever enthusiasts, hobbyists will take the overs. There's a psychological connection between overs and those who play player props, because it's a serotonin boost. And we all want things to hit. We all want to see shit go over. It's just like that connection we make. We want the good things. Under is correlated with bad shit. It's negative. Oh, I don't want to touch that. It's all baked in. And sports books know that shit, and pick'em sites know that shit. And so after a couple years of playing overs, you start looking at the unders. At first, it feels weird. It's like going to a new part of town. You're like, oh shit, it's kind of different over here. You get familiar with it, and unders are just as big a part as winning as the overs are. So sometimes slips it's like, oh, I have a slip full of unders, nothing but unders. Sometimes they're all overs. Sometimes it's just a mixture. But I definitely don't do the WNBA. I always go under. I don't do that thing. It's just value. It's where the line is. It's where the pick'em site have it. Is it a good value? And if the value is on the under, then I go with it. So these are the ones that I was again, just basing it off of BVP history versus the pitcher they're facing today. These were looking like plays I wanted to throw in a slip. I'm only putting them in one slip. I'm not going crazy with these, but that's a slip that I'm willing to throw in there. All right. What say you? What do we got here on the board today? I just went through 6 plays that I like. If you want to look up anything also from that board, probably should have done this before clearing the damn board, but I remember the names that were on it. Let's head over to props.cash. Oh man, that shit is good. You're gonna make me log in? The nerve of props.cash not trusting my login. All right. All right, so like I said, I would have rather taken the under on Rizzo's total bases, but that's not available on PrizePicks, largely due to the odds just being heavily in favor of the under. So much, in fact, like if this was on PrizePicks, they'd have to like bump it. You know, they're not going to put a total base prop of 1 for Anthony Rizzo, so they just don't put it on the board at all. His hits, runs, and RBIs, though, they're getting better odds. In fact, the odds are in favor of the over, which is why I said it's a little bit more of a risk because you are already getting positive numbers here for the odds. When you look at his hits, runs, and RBI projection, he is not projected to go over 2. And then his matchup with Brayan Bello. So his matchup with Brayan Bello has not been good. Brayan Bello has seemed to have this lineup's numbers over the last handful of starts. So when you look at these numbers, he's 0 for 9 with an RBI, which is basically a sac fly. So he's failed to hit safely in any of these at-bats. Now, at some point, this is due for some positive regression, but not to the point where, you know, it completely flips. This is the nature of sports, you know. Sometimes players just don't do well against other teams, whatever sport it is. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good the other team is. Sometimes that's just the matchup. The matchup it varies from player to player. When you look at the BVP for this current Yankees team, Anthony Volpe, 5 plate appearances, batting .400. You got Soto with no plate appearances. There's Judge. There's Stanton right there. 67% strikeout rate for Giancarlo Stanton. Rizzo 0 for 9. You got Gleyber Torres down here at the bottom. Gleyber Torres has the most at-bats versus Brayan Bello, and he has the strongest batting average, which is pretty impressive because triple the bats of Volpe and better batting average. So he's hitting Bello very well. I don't know if you want to bat him 7th. Maybe you move him up a little bit. But the 2 bats that we're targeting in this lineup, Rizzo and Stanton, just bad numbers against this. It's possible one of them doesn't play in today's game and that slip just kind of falls back to a 5 pick. It's possible, but if they are in the lineup, I do like Stanton the best. That was really something that stood out to me this morning. You can obviously go over on Judge anything you want because Judge is just Aaron Judge, but looking at the under on his run score today, -125. The reason I chose his run scored was because I couldn't choose his fantasy score. Otherwise, I would have chose his fantasy score. It wasn't on the board. I think it was runs and another, maybe he had a demon prop. My whole theory around this is that he's had a lot of trouble getting on base versus Brayan Bello today. Can't score a run if you're not on base. I mean, if Stanton was drawing like a high level walk here, like he's in a 19%, 20% walk rate versus Bello, then that'd be a little different because he gets walked and then obviously somebody can score a run or hit him in and he scores a run. But he has to get on base first. So that one stood out to me. That's why I rolled with it. Since we're talking about the Yankees having a little struggles against Brayan Bello, you can look at Brayan Bello if you want and go with some overs on him if you want, but not before looking at the research though. So averaging 5 strikeouts, basically he's averaging 5 strikeouts this year. Earned runs, projected to give up 3 earned runs. I don't give a shit if he is projected to give up 3 earned runs, as long as they're not scored by Stanton and Rizzo. I don't really care. But if he's going to give up 3 earned runs, it would be kind of cool if Judge just hit a 3-run homer with Volpe and Soto on. That would be great for me. Longest Stanton and Rizzo doesn't get it done. So he's projected to give up 3 earned runs, and he's projected also to go about 5 innings. He does have games in there where he has gone over this line. Now, against the Yankees, he's pitched very well in these games, or at least he's gone past that 6-inning mark. 6 innings, 7, 7, and 6. 5 innings right there. In those games against the Yankees, he's done a very good job of suppressing runs, so has not been giving up a lot of production versus the Yankees. And then strikeouts have been fair. Okay, there are 3 games in there where he didn't get it done, but then he blew by it in these 2 games. If history repeats itself here, where we see another solid to very good performance by Bayo, you could look to take the over on his fantasy score. Fantasy score, as long as the runs don't get out of hand, that's what really kills fantasy score. It's very easy for a player to go under fantasy score and have a high strikeout day. They can get 8 strikeouts and give up 4 earned runs, and it just kind of like balances out. So you want the runs to be down, the strikeouts to be where they need to be, around 5. And as long as he doesn't get rocked, which means he's giving up runs, which probably leads to an early exit, he should be in line for the over on his fantasy score based off this information. This game is in Fenway. It is a nice ballpark to hit in. It's not as hitter friendly as Yankee Stadium with that short porch, but Fenway does offer some upside in terms of some runs. So as long as he can keep the ball in the park, he should be okay for the overs on some of his props. Let's get some money today. JR, what's up? Finnegan Pro Reactor. What's up, Pro Reactor? Finnegan over 30 kills, maps 1 and 2. All right, let's look at Finnegan. I just assumed it was CS2, and I was correct. What are the lines on him, Pro Reactor? Where are you seeing that play? And then do other pick'em sites have this? Where are those lines? What's going on, Mark? Good morning to you. Jaylen Brown, first quarter points, says Super Collider. Did we look at Carlos Correa fantasy already? Nope. You like the over on that one? Vibes? Oh, he's already I didn't even have to search for him. His ass is already on the board right there under popular plays. Oh, high school prom king looking ass, most popular play. All right. What gives? Woo. Dude, Oakland sucks, man. Not the city, just the team. The A's. I have not spent enough time in Oakland to make take a stand on whether Oakland sucks as a city. But their baseball team is not good. I want them to be good because as a kid, I was a big Oakland A's fan because of Jose Canseco and Mark McGwire, the Bash brothers. But that was a long time ago. Many steroids ago, that team was good. Many steroids ago. Okay, underdog has it at 31.5 kills. I wonder if this got bumped up from 29 to 30 or down from 30.5 to 30. What's up, Vu? Good morning. Took it over yesterday. It smashed, but was at 6.5. Correa was at 6.5 yesterday. Yeah. This is being bumped up for sure. Anderson. Oh, Henderson stealing was always the best. Yeah. Yeah, Henderson stealing. You had the Bash brothers mashing pitches. You had fucking Dennis Eckersley with that circus mustache of his. Fucking, I don't think it was that extreme, but that mustache was real. Yeah, that whole team was entertaining. Dave Stewart. Just remembering some names now. All right, we got Correa up there. We got Finnegan up there. Who did I miss? Jaylen Brown, first quarter points. Over 6. I think I got those 3. All right. So we got 3 plays on the board. If you're new to the stream, throw it in the chat. Let me know if it's your first time in the stream or even if it's your first time in the chat. But if you are just joining the stream, thank you for joining. Hit the like button. We've already gone over 6 plays. Had some plays pulled up on the board already, mostly fantasy scores, mostly unders just due to the BVP matchup today. And now we're looking at some player props that you all want to look at. So the first 6 were from me. And then these 3 on the board are from you all. I read an article, I don't know, I think an NBA hype, or was it Bleacher Report? I don't know. Basically about how Luka Doncic is the white elephant in the room, and how during the playoffs, the Mavericks had something called elephant hunting, where they were basically just getting the matchup they wanted and putting that defender on, getting that defender on Kyrie and Luka and just fucking them up, right? All 3 rounds, they were able to get away with that, where Kyrie and Luka were just exploiting that weak link. It has not worked against the Celtics, and how this series, Luka is the elephant in the room, and the Celtics are doing the exact same thing to them. Luka cannot keep up with Brown. They talked about how just basically any big guard, any big wing they have has just been able to get their way with Luka for the most part. He's just too slow off the dribble. His footwork is not good, not strong enough right now. But yeah, that was it. That was an interesting read to me, how they were just kind of picking apart Luka, and how Jason Kidd has been open about it, saying, yeah, he's got a target on his back this series. So it's not like quiet. Everybody knows it. I guess if you pay attention and watch the games, you see it. But when they're writing articles about the shit, like it's known. Do we trust Gafford over 7 points? I don't know. I tell you what, he had gone 4 straights. 6 points for him. Didn't Lively have like 15 points? 11. With no Porzingis in the lineup, and that last minute scratch sucked, man. That shit sucked. Because without him in that lineup, I took a couple unders on some player props that basically just blew up in my face. But it was announced so late in the day that most of your plays had been already in slips. And as soon as that shit hit the wire, every single Celtic prop got removed off all the pick'em sites. So you couldn't even take advantage of it. I mean, that one sucked. But now we know he's not playing for the rest of the season. And so now you have, some plays you can look at. Hopefully no more last minute scratches. Derek Lively, his points got bumped up to 8. When he goes over, he's getting over. But, 11 points without Porzingis in the middle. I mean, this doesn't seem high at all. It just doesn't. There is not just a paint presence when Porzingis is not in the middle, and we know what he can bring on the defensive end, but there's just no contest for rebounds. And so how many points is Derek Lively getting off of rebounds, putbacks? there's just nothing. There's nothing there. We saw similar results when the Celtics played Cleveland. You know, Mobley looked like what everybody wants Mobley to look like during a regular season. There's just no resistance there. It's not Al Horford and it's not Xavier Tillman. So if Porzingis is not in the lineup, I think the Dallas Bigs are in a good spot. I mean, if you like Gafford over on points, I wouldn't give up on him just because he had one bad game. It's so crazy how powerful that one bad game is, right? He 5, 6, 7 straight games. It's like, hell yeah. Then he has that one game, not just him, but anybody has that one bad game. And then you're like, oh shit, I don't know anymore. It's like, you know, the track record says that he's good for the over, but that one bad game, it's just, that's how powerful that shit is. Like, this means nothing anymore. This means everything. You know, it's crazy, but that's how it is. That's how these props get a hold of you sometimes, where you're like, I don't know if he can get that over, even though he did get it over by fucking 10 points the last game before missing on this game. I mean, we can look at it. It's hard for me to think that the Mavericks don't try to protect Luka a little bit more. I mean, exploiting the paint. I mean, they should just do that. They should just do that. His minutes were super low and Lively's minutes were higher. Did he get into foul trouble? I mean, Lively is way more lively. No pun. Very much so pun. Very much so pun. Lively is way more lively than Gafford. He's active. He's obviously younger, but he's active. He crashes the glass hard. I mean, he fits that offense very well. And so he's a hustle player, and he's just going to find himself in these positions to like rack up points and boards. So we can look and see if they were in foul trouble though. Yeah. A common thing is also when a player has a bad game, I think a lot of players will take their shit and go somewhere else and be like, oh yeah, I'm done with that guy. But something that you could be doing is looking to go right back to a player after they sell, right? Right back to a player, because typically their line will fall back a little bit, and you don't have to worry about it bumping because most people aren't going to put money on that anymore. They're moving on. So it's kind of what we're seeing here. Were his points at 7.5 or 8 last game, something like that? They dropped. T says if they put his dunks up and it's at 2, might take it. Chris Sale fantasy score over. I was seeing unders on Chris Sale's strikeouts today, but his matchup with the Rays is I mean, we may have to look at we'll look at it, but unless they've cleaned it up, the Rays started off the season striking out a ton. Now maybe they've cleaned it up, like I said, but you typically don't see a major league team flip the switch like that, where they're one of the worst teams in the major leagues, striking out, and then they just flip it, and now they're one of the best. It usually like balances out. So like you're like the worst by mid-season, you've improved. By the end of the season, you're not as bad as you were, but that's not saying that you're good. So we'll look at Chris Sale's matchup today. 40 fantasy score seems like a very high number. It is a high number, but you'd be surprised how quickly that shit can add up, especially if the pitcher isn't giving up tons of runs. Now, if Chris Sale gets 6 innings, he's going to have to get it done in 6 innings. But if he gets you 7+ innings in that range, this to me feels like a good target. What's up, Carrie? Anyone like tank line on PrizePicks? Seager hits, runs, and RBIs. All right. Let's go look some of these plays up. Over on props.cash, we'll go Correa and Sale. We got Brown. I tell you what, let's do the NBA plays first since they're obviously in the same game. Brown over points, first quarter points. Luka and Tatum over threes. And then Gafford over his points. We are not really making a case right now. Once we're done researching, we'll come back and we can switch these to unders or whatever based off what we're seeing. All right. We're going to pull up the PrizePicks NBA dashboard or props.cash dashboard. All right. All right, Gafford. So his points got bumped 6.5, man. Wouldn't you have liked to play it at 6.5? Don't you wish your points were at 6.5? 6.5 points would have been ideal. Now it's up to 7. So here's the thing. At 6.5, he needs 7. He's over, right? At 7, he needs 8. However, if he just landed on 7, is a push. So if you were to put this in a 6 pick, then that your 6 pick would now be a 5 pick. 5 pick would be a 4 pick. If you put this in a 2 pick and he pushes at 7, I think you get a 1.5 payout or something like that, which is not good, but it's at least you're getting some profit. He has literally gone over this line with 8 or more points. Anytime he's over with 8. He has yet to land on 7. These are playoff games. These are relevant games. If you want to get specific with it, and go look at his home games. It's a little different. But this is also inclusive of some bullshit regular season games. We don't care about those. Home playoff games, there you go. So 3 games where he didn't go over, 1 game more. However, again, when he's over his point line, he's not landing on 7. It's 8 or more. So I don't know if you're also seeing this. If you've watched this stream before, you're probably catching this. I'm about to talk about it real quick. But in any game that he has gone under, he has bounced back handsomely. 5 points, 12. 6 points here. What's going to happen? Five. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Away. That's even more impressive. Yeah, I think you could look at the over on 7, to be honest with you. This could be the final game of their career. This could be the final game of the season for everybody. So it's not that much. It's not that much of a risk, you know. If it was at 8.5 or some shit like that, I'd probably stay away. But 7 is within the range we've been getting it at, right? So I think, yeah, you can go back to 7. It's fine. And that's okay. Actually, I thought we could look at his foul trouble. See what was the deal with the minutes last game. Well, let's make sure that we're playoffs. He did not get into foul trouble. He's actually done okay. I mean, these are kind of high numbers, but for the most part, you're still averaging under three fouls per game in the playoffs in this range here. So it definitely wasn't because of foul trouble. He got 16 minutes last game compared to Lively's 30. Yeah, I mean, to me, that just feels like Lively was just playing better. He was bringing more to the table. You can involve him in different ways. He's, like I said, he's more active. Also, I don't know if having Lively and Gafford on the floor together is, I don't know how many times that lineup has been in the playoffs, but maybe that's not getting the best results for Kidd. Maybe he has to just go with the hot hand. Who's giving the Celtics the most trouble? Is it Lively? You know, maybe something like that. I mean, outside of that game, you know, last 5 playoff games for Derek Lively, he's averaging 20.4 minutes. Last 5 for Gafford, he's averaging 21. So, like, outside of that game, there's really not that big of a difference in minute average for these two guys. Now, if you want to like get very specific, I suggest you go look up popcornmachine.net and look at the rotations and how many minutes these two guys are on the floor together and see if there's any correlation between that. But I don't really think, you know, all of a sudden Jason Kidd is like, okay, Gafford, you know, we're not going to play you anymore. I don't think that's the case. I just think Lively was just doing more athletic. All right. Luka Doncic and Tatum threes. So, okay, let's look at individual lines first. What is this? Oh, okay. I thought that said April 12th. Last 5 playoff games, Luka. Look, up until that last game, Luka was averaging 4 threes against Boston. Today or tomorrow, he's projected for 3.3. We talked about Jason Tatum on the road in the playoffs is a different beast. If Jason Tatum hits 4 threes again, this is going over. It's possible that we get 4 and 4 from both of these guys. And that gives you 8. I think it was 6.5, right? Yeah. Jason Tatum last 5 road playoff games is averaging 32 points. Jason Tatum last 5 home playoff games, 24. There's a huge difference here. He has reverse splits. Typically, you see players play better at home. Maybe because the Celtics are so stacked, maybe he's turning it on in on the road more than he is at home. I don't know, but these numbers, you can't argue with these numbers. These aren't projections. These are actual game logs. So he's averaging 28 over his last 10 road games and 32 in his last 5, compared to 23 and 24. That is a huge difference. Threes at home, 1.7 and 2, and then on the road, 2.5 and 3. I mean, he's shooting better. He's shooting with more efficiency. He's scoring more. I mean, he's just doing more. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes out there with 10 threes, not hit 10 threes, but shoot 10 threes. He attempted 13 last game. 10 might be too low. I mean, if Jason Tatum goes out there and gets you, if he shoots 10 times from 3, he needs to make 40% of those. 50, 27, 31. I mean, that's 10. If he shoots 13 again, I mean, 4 out of 13 is just 31%. That's not that high. You're asking him to give you 35% 3. That's not a lot. So I think that one's in play. Jaylen Brown, first quarter points. All right, so Jaylen Brown's first quarter points are at 6. Now, I got this 2 away games. So, over his last 5 playoff games, he has gone under this line. At home, he's gone over in 2, and then on the road, he's gone over in 1. He's 0 for 3 against Dallas, and this is these are all playoff games. So this one for the over, unless we're seeing something differently here, this one looks like a for me personally, it just looks like a stay away. I think there are better lines to take for him, but looking at his full game points, PRA, PA, PR, and an RA. Turnovers. Many of these, I mean, really up until these games, all these games were without Porzingis. So it's like, oh, but he does better without Porzingis. No, he doesn't. We don't have to filter that out. It's right there on the screen. No Porzingis, no Porzingis, no Porzingis. Porzingis was here, and that's it. That's it. Just this. Here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games played without Porzingis. He's over points. In just 2 games, he's under. With Porzingis, you saw this happen. So this was a thing. PRA without Porzingis, we don't have to filter it out. It's already on the screen. Over, under. So that's with Porzingis. I think if you're going to take a look at Jaylen Brown's props, I think full game, the way he's been playing, we talked about Derek White being a dark horse MVP candidate for the finals if they win. The way Jaylen Brown's playing, I mean, he was MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals. If they win, I mean, he's been that guy for the Celtics in the finals, which is really good for him because he was getting so much criticism their last finals run. So yeah, we're looking at the over on, I think, Jaylen Brown's first quarter points. We just weren't getting a lot of positive data to support the over, to be honest. Now, if I read that incorrectly and it was under on his points, that to me does feel like something we can exploit. Or you could just stay away from it and play something else. All right, let's look at Chris Sale fantasy score. Man, if you're just joining the stream, thank you so much. We're about to dip out in like 10 minutes, though. Sorry, but we've been on live for about an hour already. So we're going to look at Chris Sale's fantasy score here. 7.5 strikeouts. Like I mentioned earlier, I was seeing some unders on this one. Pinnacle has it under. BetMGM, FanDuel, Caesars is the closest to an over you're going to get. And then DraftKings also has this at an under -125. So this matchup with Tampa Bay does offer some upside. They're whiffing at 25% rate to lefties on the season. So that's what I was talking about earlier. Unless something has dramatically changed, they're still one of the top strikeout teams in the league. To see some unders on Chris Sale, I was a little confused by that, but we'll look at this together. So we're looking at fantasy score. He does not have to go out there and strike out 10. If he goes out there and gets you 7 strikeouts, which is an under, that's 21 points. If he goes and gets you 7 innings pitched, All right, you're getting minus 204 on 18.5. So based off these numbers, he's not projected to go more than 6 innings. 6 innings is 18 outs, but this minus 204, I mean, you're still getting pretty good juice. I think 6 innings is in play. That's 18 plus the 21. That's 39 fantasy points right there. If he gives up more than, basically, he's projected to give up maybe 3 earned runs, but to the Tampa Bay Rays. Let's say he gives up 3 earned runs. Let's just say that's what happens, okay? So he's at 39 fantasy points. He gives up 3 earned runs. That puts him at 30. He gets the quality start bonus. That's 34. And then with the win, that puts him at 40 fantasy points. His prop today is 40.5. That's with 3 earned runs. Now at 40 fantasy points, that's a tough loss. However, if Chris Sale pitches any more than 6 innings, if he goes 6 1/3 innings, that's 1 extra point. Now you're at 41 fantasy points. There's the over. If he gets you 1 more strikeout, if he gets you 8 strikeouts, there's another 3 points. You're at 44. If he gives up 1 less earned run, now you're at 47 fantasy points. So it really comes down to keeping the runs under 3. So that way you qualify for the quality start. Pitching 6 or more innings so that you get the quality start bonus. And then getting at least 7 strikeouts. It's hard for me to think he gets the over on his fantasy score and does not pitch into the 6th inning or doesn't get you 7 or more. He has to get you 7 or more. If he gets you 6 or fewer, this shit's gonna chalk. It's gonna chalk. So you gotta hope that the strikeouts are 7+, and you gotta hope that his innings are 6 1/3 or more, and just that he does not get rocked. 2 earned runs, you can do it. 3 earned runs is getting tight. 4 earned runs, I don't know. He got fucking rocked here against Oakland. Miami. Texas got him for 3, but that's you can win with that. You can win with that. You obviously can win with all that. If he has a game like these 2 games, that play's done. Can't win. You can't go over 20 fantasy points giving up 8 earned runs. So, but Tampa Bay strikes out a lot. They're swinging at everything and missing at everything. Carlos Correa, fantasy points. We'll break down these fantasy points. All right, so let's look at some projections here. 2 hits, runs, RBIs. There's an RBI, there's your hit, and then that's about it. So home run today is, when we talk about fantasy points, the easiest, clearest path to the over is a home run. That's it, is over. It's done. You don't have to sweat it anymore. A triple would be great, but triples are it's more common to hit a home run than triple. That would get you over fantasy. This fantasy. A double will get you 5. A single only gets you 3, and that's what he's projected for. He's actually projected, looks like that's closer to 2 singles, but you're also getting heavier juice on the under. Minus 169 to go over this. He does have 3-4 games with 2 singles over the last 10 games, so it's not out of range for him. Total bases gives you a better indication of what those hits will look like. I mean, this is incredible production. This guy's like turning back the hands of time. He looks like when he was with the Astros. He still can't grow a mustache though. All right, so let's look at matchup. There is no matchup. Mitch Spence, no matchup. So we look at right-handed pitching matchup for Carlos Correa. So we got righty on righty crime, 306 batting average, 4 homers, 10 doubles, 1 triple, and 26 singles. So he has 15 extra base hits, 23 RBIs, and he has scored. There must be some error here. Okay, Mitch Spence versus righties, doing a pretty good job of keeping the batting average down to both righties and lefties. 2 homers, 5 doubles, and 19 singles. Should get at least 4 plate appearances today versus Spence, or not versus Spence, but today's game. He should get, what, 2 plate appearances versus Spence? Spence has been giving you, I got up to seven innings, so not really stretched out in these games. And then boom, little longer leash. Is he getting rocked in these games? Not really. This game against Miami, he gave up 4. Then against Seattle, he gave up 4. He only pitched 14 innings and he went 6. So it looks like he just wasn't really stretched out. On the year, he is only a 0.78 K per inning guy, so not even 1 K per inning for him. Pitch counts. There you go. So pitch count also has taken a huge turn upwards. So these last 3 games, he's in or around that 100 pitch range. 89 pitches, a little bit of a drop down after back-to-back games of getting close to 100. So I feel like 100 is maybe their limit. Like, nope. The crazy thing about pitch counts is it doesn't matter what's going on in a game. It doesn't matter how close you are to the inning being over. It doesn't matter how good of a game you've had prior to that. If you're on a pitch count and you're at it, they'll just pull you. I mean, you could be in the middle of a count with the batter, 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning. They'll just pull you because the data says that next pitch, is going to have long-term ramifications towards your career longevity. So it looks like 100 is not in his card. So if he can get you 98 to 99 pitches in that 90 range, that should be good enough for like 6 to 7 innings, maybe 7, but definitely 6 innings here. So the longer he's on the mound, the better, I guess, for Correa. I don't know, because there's no BVP there. I mean, the way he's been pitching, maybe you don't want him on the mound longer than 4 or 5 innings, because outside of these 2 games, he's done a great job of keeping that production down. So maybe you want him out. I don't know. But that's just a little background on Mitch Spence. I've never heard of him. I also don't follow a lot of baseball headlines, so I don't watch the MLB draft. I don't watch all 87 rounds of the fucking draft. So I don't know who this guy is. I apologize, but we just learned a little bit about him. All right, Chris Sale over fantasy points. If his innings are over 6 1/3, if he can get you those 7 strikeouts, he is definitely in line for the over here. He needs quality start and win bonus to go over. He needs to keep the earned runs under 3. Unless he goes out there and gets you 11 strikeouts, then he could pretty much do whatever he wants, because that's a lot of fantasy points. Bounce back for Daniel Gafford over 7. We already talked about this. We already talked about this number being a little low. This one feels like a good one as well. Jason Tatum on the road in the playoffs is no joke. If he's shooting 35% from 3, this is going over. Jaylen Brown, look, based off what I saw in those graphics, this one did not look like a good over to me. If you don't know or you're undecided, you could just take him out of this. Correa over. And then we didn't get a chance to look up Finnegan because it's CS2 is not part of the props.cash breakdown, but the discrepancy between PrizePicks and underdog is 1.5. So you can look at the over here. And if you want to try to middle it, you take the under on underdog, and hopefully he lands right at 31, and then you can cash both. Do that. All right. Let's see. Let's look up this Seager player real quick. Tank. Is that CS2, Carrie? All right, we're going to clear this out. What is it for Seager? Hits, runs, and RBIs. Corey Seager. Yeah, that's a demon. And then CS2 Tank. I don't know if that's a CS2. I'm assuming it's CS2. Not CS2. Is that MMA? Tank? Oh, it's boxing, right? Is that Gervonta Davis? Yeah, okay. Haha, third time's the charm. All right. So y'all liking the over on what total punches landed? Fight time? Fantasy score? Or you think Gafford he was a little not 100%? I'm assuming you're looking at the total punches landed for Gervonta. Gervonta Davis. What's up, Mr. RBI? I was thinking about that, T. Will they just chill and try to win it at home? I hope not. I hope they just get this shit out, man. Knock it out. Get it done with. So that Jason Tatum can go finish his damn tattoo. That's like a 4-year tattoo. It's like, bro, that's a big ass piece. He's a big ass dude, man. That his back is like a fucking wall, but that's like pain tolerance at anything, man. You can probably get, I think the most an artist will probably go for is like maybe 4 hours per session. At that point, your body's just swelling up. You need to like cut that session off. If you're attacking that tat at 4 hours per session, you could probably knock that out in like a few weeks, a couple of sessions a week, maybe. They've been working on that shit since he was like at Duke. Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. What about the wind boost? What's the wind boost? Oh, for you mean stars? Saw Jaylen Brown under 34.5 PRA. Appreciate you being here, Mark. Thank you, man. Ozuna over home runs. So that's a demon play for sure. All right, let's look up this Brown and Ozuna, and then we'll get out of here. Appreciate y'all being here. Today's live stream. Hope your Friday's going well. Now, this would actually correlate really well with Chris Sale. I don't know if you could put Chris Sale and Ozuna in the same slip. You should be able to. PrizePicks should not nerf your payout for that one. But the reason I say this is a good correlation is if, Ozuna hits a home run, they're on the same team, okay? So if Ozuna hits a home run, then you would assume that gives the Braves a lead or adds on to their lead. In the event it does that, then Chris Sale is that much closer to getting the win bonus. So you can look at that and say, you kind of want this Braves offense to put some runs on the board so that Chris Sale gets the win. And if he gets the win bonus, then that's 6 points. Today he has plus 225 odds to go yard. Only one homer in his last 10 games. He was on this little streak of his, man, that was real, and he cooled off. That's how sports works. Nobody stays hot forever, and nobody stays cold forever. Numbers against Zach Lytle, 0 for 3 with 1 RBI. Damn, Michael Harris. Doing his thing. Right-handed pitching for Ozuna this season, batting .308. 15 homers versus righties. He has 11 doubles. Versus lefties, his average is through the roof, but he's also getting about 50% less plate appearances. Zach Lytle versus righties on the year, allowing a sizable batting average, but the power is not there. Only 3 homers. He's given up more power to lefties. So yeah, I mean, it's very possible for Ozuna to get a hold of one, especially with odds, with odds like that. But yeah, you throw him in a slip with Chris Sale, and if Ozuna hits the home run, you obviously cash that. But you also support Chris Sale in getting the win, and then if he gets you over on the fantasy points, you get that one too. All right, let's look at this Jaylen Brown under PRA. So we talked about taking the under on his first quarter points or just staying away from them, but also looking at some overs and a few of his other props if you wanted to go over on his, plays outside of the first quarter points. But for this one, we're looking at the under on his PRA at 35.5. Obviously was the best line if you're looking at the under. DraftKings, Caesars, and BetMGM, all 3 books have the over at 34.5. Now his projection is 34.6, so that's like right there at the line. We'll look at head-to-head because that'll include the last 3 playoff games. So again, look, without Kristaps Porzingis in there, that definitely played a part in, I think, these 2 games. And then Kristaps is out, and then Brown goes off. To expect 46 PRA from him again, I don't think that's gonna happen. No Porzingis, no Porzingis, no Porzingis. Or excuse me, no Porzingis, no Porzingis. Porzingis, no Porzingis. So when Porzingis is out, Jaylen Brown is 2 out of 3 games of going over. When Porzingis was in, Jaylen Brown went under this line. So if you're drawing any kind of correlation, then the correlation is 1 less body on the floor, 1 less star on the floor, increases usage rate for the surrounding team members. And it looks like Jaylen Brown was fine with that, going over in 2 out of 3 games. 46 is a huge number. Like his RA was through the roof. He had 8 assists. He had 8 rebounds. The rebounds kind of surprised me, but the assist, back-to-back games of 7 or more assists, that is very surprising because that's really not what he was doing in the past few games. If you look at the last 10 playoff games, 40%, he's gone over 5. But these 3 games, man, these are kind of outliers. You're not really seeing a lot of that. Last 15 playoff games, yeah, I mean, that's really not what he does. So they're finding ways to they're just finding ways to exploit Dallas's defense. It's hard to say, oh, this is going to go over again. He's going to get you 7 or 8, but I don't know if anybody saw that coming. But theirs is a PRA at 34.5. 60% hit rate, and then a 40% hit rate. I guess if you want to make it a little bit more like clear, games played without Porzingis, these are all overs, 3 unders. So he clearly benefits with Porzingis not being in the lineup. All right. JR says, I'm thinking Ozuna, home run, 2 RBI, Sale 5+ strikeouts, 650 plus 30% boost on Bet365. I mean, so if Ozuna hits a home run, you want somebody on base. So that's a clear. Does he have to get you 2? I mean, does he have to get you more than 2, or is 2 or more? 2 or more is way more favorable, because 3 RBIs is a lot for a player. 2 RBIs is a lot, but I mean, if he's going yard, you would assume he's batting 4th, 5th in the lineup. Somebody should be on base, you would think. He doesn't even have to hit a home run to get the RBIs, but to get that, yeah, I mean, that'll knock it all out. I think the Sale plus 5 strikeouts that's probably like the easiest leg of those 2. 2 or more, okay. Yeah. That should be sweaty. Sweaty Friday for sure. All right. We looked up quite a few plays today. We looked at quite a few plays. We started off with 6 major league fantasy score plays that I like pretty much all the unders on except for Luis Ariz. We've looked up 12 additional player props on this stream. I think 12. And then a couple that we couldn't really look up in terms of like punches landed for Davis. And there was a esports play as well. But there's a lot of sports today. There's PGA. I'm looking at some lines right now. I'm looking at some PGA lines right now, and there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of plays on the board. MLB, WNBA, NBA, PGA, esports. So you shouldn't have any problem finding value today. And then if you play on multiple pick'em sites, even better, because what's on PrizePicks aren't the only props. So do yourself a favor, sign up for another player prop site today if you haven't done so. If you've been holding off on it for whatever reason, but if you need some help with like picking a player prop site, or just if you need some help with just finding somewhere else to play, check out my video descriptions, my link descriptions. I have tons and tons of links. I also have this page here. This page is also in my link description. BetMGM, DraftKings, FanDuel, Bet365. All these are handing out promos. So There's still a lot of North Carolina promos going on, but you can see that all these books, they want your business. So they are fully aware of the competition. So they have to basically match what everybody else is doing and then some. So it's a great time to play on different books, play on different pick'em sites. The pick'em site that is not offering anything kind of fucking sucks. They need to get with it. Books that aren't offering anything, they need to get with it because they're losing money and they're losing members. So all these links are in the stream description. So if you need any help finding something to add to your pick'em site options or just player prop options, there you go. But that's going to do it for today's stream. Appreciate y'all being here on a Friday morning. Not quite 10 a.m. We did go a little over 10 a.m., but still cutting it a little short for today's stream. We'll be back tomorrow, 8:50 a.m. with a Saturday player prop live stream. We'll recap today's slips. Hopefully everybody hits. Hope that 3-leg hits for you, JR. Hope Ozuna goes off. Helps Sale get the over on his fantasy points. Possibly the end of the NBA season tomorrow. So tomorrow might be the last time we talk about NBA for a while. I don't fuck with FIFA or any of the summer league bullshit. So not until next October, this coming October. So we got a few months in between last NBA game and first NBA game of the new season. So a lot of baseball, a lot of WNBA, but appreciate y'all being here, sticking around. Hit the like button on your way out. If you haven't done so, hit that sub button on your way out, and then also hit that bell notification so that you are notified of all upcoming content, like tomorrow's live stream, where we will be breaking down even more player props. Hope all your player props respect the coin. Best of luck to you all, and until tomorrow's player prop talk live stream, Chavez is out.